Most people assume that you need money to make money, but that's a lie. You need money to be able to grow your money, but you don't need money to get money. But what about if you're in a recession? Then you definitely need money to get money, right? No, that's also a lie. If you want to attract money, especially if you don't come from money, there's 4 things that you need. Number 1, you need discipline. Number 2, you need a good work ethic. Number 3, you need the willingness to learn. And number 4, you need the willingness to fail. If you want to attract money when you're in an economic slowdown or a recession, now you need those 4 things plus extra creativity. Some of the largest companies in the world were created during a recession, like GM, HP, Burger King, Hyatt, Trader Joe's, Uber, and Airbnb are just a small list of companies that were created during a recession. You don't have to go out and create the next Uber or the next Airbnb to change your life and your family's life and start creating real generational wealth, but you have to start thinking a little bit differently. And then this is where everybody says, but this time is different. Our economy is different. The world is different. Everything is different about today than the previous decades and previous recessions. So the things that happened in the past don't apply to today. Like today we have high inflation. Today everyone's talking about an economic slowdown because of that. How do you make money then? There are 3 universal ways to attract money regardless of what stage in the economy that you're in. Number 1 is you can get paid for what you do. Number 2 is you can get paid for what you own. And number 3 is you can get paid for what you create. When you get paid for what you do, this is where you go and get a job working for somebody else. You work in somebody else's company, you do something, and you get paid for what you do. When you get paid for what you own, now you own investments, you own stocks, you own businesses, you own real estate, you own things that pay you for owning them. And number 3, when you get paid for what you create, this is where now you create your own income. When people say it takes money to make money, they don't understand these 3 different ways that you can attract money, because when they say it takes money to make money, what they're focusing on is this. Hey, it takes money to go out and buy a business. It takes money to go out and invest in real estate. It takes money to buy stocks, so it takes money to make money. Well, yeah, it takes money to go out and buy these assets, but it doesn't take money to attract money here and here. This is where it takes the other 4 or 5 items that I was talking about, where you have to have the right discipline. You have to know how to work hard. You have to know how to learn. You have to know how to take risks, and then you have to know how to be creative. If you know how to do these 5 things, well, then you can earn money here and here, and then you can take the money you're making from here, put it here. You can take the money you're making here and put it here, and that's where you can start building that real wealth. Now this is where things get even more interesting, because now people say, what happens when you go through an economic slowdown or a recession? How can I build wealth then, especially if I don't have a lot of money to start? Because what happens in a recession is getting a job becomes tougher. Now, a lot of companies are doing layoffs. They're cutting costs, they're cutting bonuses, they're cutting promotions. So it's harder to find a good paying job, especially in the industries that are getting hit by the recession. And second, you see these asset prices fall. So the people that typically get rich in a recession are the people that can go in and buy assets, whether it's stocks, whether it's real estate, whether it's businesses, because then you see the prices of these assets fall. Because when you go through a recession, you could see a stock market crash, you could see a real estate crash, you could see business valuations fall, which create opportunities for people who already have money to now build even more wealth, because now they can go out and buy some of these assets at a discounted, distressed price. So how do you build wealth during an economic slowdown if it's harder to get a good paying job, if it's harder to own these assets because you don't have the money to buy them? Well, that also leaves option number 3, which is where you can create an income, because the interesting thing about a recession is now people are looking for more creative solutions to their problems, because new problems arise when you're in a recession, and people are also looking for work. And so if you're in a recession and you're looking to create something, well, now you also have the benefit of people who need work. Talented people who will be willing to work at a discounted price, because now they need that income, they need work. And you might be saying, but how am I supposed to hire people if I don't have money? Well, you have to start somewhere. You start by creating something, and then if you can continue to work to grow that, now you have a whole talent pool of people that are looking for something to do. So if your goal is to figure out how can I get rich or build wealth during a recession when I have no money to begin with, well, you can't go out and start buying assets at a discounted price, because you have no money to buy these assets unless you can go out and find money somewhere. But if that's what you can't do, it's going to be hard to do it through getting a job, which leaves option number 3, which is creating your own income. And this is where now working to become an entrepreneur, building your own side hustle, building your own business can be one of the most lucrative and most profitable opportunities. And now you might be saying, but Jaspreet, nobody has money to spend. Well, this is where that creativity becomes so important, because you have seen some of the largest and biggest businesses that we have to date all started during recessions. You have to be creative. People still have money to spend during recessions. People still have jobs during recessions. Even during the Great Depression, the majority of people had a job. People are scared to spend their money because of what's going on in the economy, but if you can find a solution to people's problems, they will be willing to pay you money to do that. And if you can do that in a way that will solve more people's problems during that time, you will be able to make more money. And this is where you have to be willing to be creative, because it's always going to change with the times. When the 2020 pandemic hit, you saw a whole new wave of freelancers and side hustlers hit the market. People were now sitting at home, watching TV, sitting on Netflix, sitting on YouTube, and you saw more people then become content creators. Now, you don't have to go out and become a content creator, but people were sitting at home and they said, oh, people are spending all this time on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. How about I start creating this content? So now you had this whole new wave of people that started earning an income from their homes because it started becoming YouTubers and TikTokers and Instagrammers. Like for me personally, when the 2020 pandemic hit, that was when we launched our financial newsletter, because when the pandemic hit, there was a lot of confusion in the markets. The markets were tanking. Nobody knew what was going on. So that's when I started getting emails from my team with a breakdown of what was happening in the markets, because I asked them to do that. And then I said, hey, I wonder if we can give this away to our audience for free. And that was where Market Briefs started. Now, back then, we didn't call it Market Briefs. We called it the Minority Mindset Newsletter. But then slowly over time, this became Market Briefs, and the Market Briefs became Briefs Media. And now we have the Market Briefs Newsletter. We have Market Briefs in Spanish for our Spanish speakers. And we have Business Briefs, which is our newsletter for entrepreneurs and business owners to keep you up to date on what's happening on the latest business trends. It all started with that simple Market Briefs or Minority Mindset Newsletter email that we started with. But then slowly, this business started to grow. It started to generate money. Then we reinvested it into Business Briefs. Then that started to grow, and then we started creating the Market Briefs in Spanish newsletters. So we started with just a simple newsletter. Our revenue has grown, our staff has grown, and it all started with this little email idea that I had when the pandemic first hit. By the way, if you want to join any of these newsletters, it's completely free, and I'll put the link to how you can join down in the description below. When the 2008 crash happened, that was when I first started investing in real estate, because real estate prices were at rock bottom. So I started doing this. I started buying real estate. But then I realized I don't have enough money to keep buying real estate, because real estate is expensive and it takes a lot of money to buy real estate. So then I needed a way to start creating an income that would have more money to start buying real estate. And back then, when real estate prices were so depressed, it was all about the rental and investor real estate market. So that's when I got into this concept called wholesaling real estate. First, I went out and I got my real estate salesperson's license, and then I learned about wholesaling real estate. And then I started doing that, which is where essentially you enter into a contract to buy real estate without the intention of actually buying it yourself, because you don't have to put down the money. So now you get into a contract to buy real estate, and then you're going to sell this contract to buy the real estate to somebody else at a higher price, because you're a better marketer, you know how to actually find a better buyer. And that's what I started doing. It didn't cost much money to do it. I just had to learn how to do it. And then I enter into contracts to buy homes, and then I'd flip the contract to somebody else. That way I didn't have to invest any money. And that created income for me, which I used to buy assets at a discounted price. You do not need a lot of money to build $1 million business. You don't need $100,000 to build a business. You don't need $10,000. You don't even need $1,000 to build $1 million business. How do I know? Because, well, our suite of minority mindset companies all started with a small investment of under $500. I think it was a lot less than $500, but I say $500 just to be generous, because I started by making videos off of my cell phone in front of a white wall. I didn't have any fancy equipment, no fancy editing software. I used the free software off my computer. I didn't have a mic. I didn't have anything. I was just recording off of a tripod that I bought off Amazon for 25 bucks. I had a light, I think, for $25, and that was it. And I started making videos. And slowly they started to grow, we started to generate revenue, and then we started investing in building more things, reinvesting that money back into the company slowly, until we built our whole suite of companies. And now these companies are able to support themselves. We have staff that run each company, and we continue to reinvest back into the companies. But it didn't start with $1 million or $100,000 or $10,000. I started with less than $500. And so what you have to understand when it comes to creating an income, there's two things that you need to have. You need to have an income source, which means you have to have something to sell, and then you have to have customers to sell this product to. So you need people to buy the product, and you need something to sell. And the mistake that so many people make when they try to create this income is they focus here. They spend all their time trying to figure out, how do I create the perfect product? How do I create the perfect brand? How do I create the perfect logo? How do I create the perfect sales page? And you're spending all this time working on optimizing the product when you should be spending your time finding the customers. Because if you have enough customers, you can have a crappy product and still make money. But if you have no customers, you can have the best product in the world and not make any money. You have to start with something. I'm not saying go out and sell crappy products. I'm saying you got to start by making some money. That way, once you start making money, then you can start reinvesting to improve this product. Whatever this product is. This product could be as simple as the content you create. It could be information that you have. It could be a physical product that you create. It could be a service that you have. It doesn't matter what the product is. You have to start with something. In the business world, they call it an MVP, a minimally viable product. Essentially what that means is just start. Ready, fire, aim. Come up with an idea, create the simplest, most basic version of that product that is possible, and just start selling it. Because if you focus on creating this product and not here, you are going to fail. Because there's no way to know exactly what your customers will want. Your product will change with time. Your interests will change with time. And if you start spending all of your time and your focus and your money trying to optimize the product before you even get it out to your customer, you're going to be in for a whole world of surprise, because what you're going to realize is your customers are not going to like what you have, no matter how good it is, until you actually see what they like. You have to get it launched. Once you get it launched, that's when you can refine the product and make it better. Our first Minority Mindset newsletters, before they were market briefs, were horrible. We look back at them and laugh because of how kind of badly they were written. But at the time, we thought they were great. But we just wanted to get it launched as soon as possible. That way we could start getting feedback, because we don't want to spend a lot of money doing that. We just wanted to get these emails out there, get people to subscribe to them, see what people have to say, and then improve it based off of what we think can be done. We are still working to improve our newsletter each and every day, but if we spent 6 months trying to create the perfect newsletter, well, we wouldn't have grown our newsletter list as fast as we would have, because we would have spending all of our time here. But we wanted to spend our time growing this. That way, these people, our users, our customers, our subscribers, could tell us how we can improve our actual product. This is Entrepreneurship 101. Start with a crappy product, get some customers, and see if it works. Test the market before you spend all of your money, time, and effort perfecting your product, because what you might realize is you need to completely change the product. Or maybe you don't need to change the product that much. Or maybe you need to redefine what that product is, but you don't want to spend all of your money, time, and effort creating a product that's just going to be changed in 6 weeks. So get something launched. Come up with an idea, whatever it might be. Maybe you can sell cakes. Maybe you want to sell your accounting services. Maybe you have something else that you can do. Whatever it is, you have this idea. Now all you got to do is find people to buy it. Now, how do you find customers? You don't have to go out and start running expensive ads. You don't have to go out and hire a fancy PR or marketing person to start doing this. Just get on Instagram, get on TikTok, start creating content over there. Maybe create blog posts if you think that will help you, but start with as little money as possible. That way you can just start posting content and get somebody onto your page, and it doesn't have to be a beautiful landing page. You don't have to spend money on these softwares to create landing pages. Create the most basic and the cheapest landing page to get started. And then as customers start to come, that's when you start reinvesting back into the company. Don't go out and spend money before you start making money. First, earn money, and then take the money that you're earning and reinvest it back into the company. That way you know you're actually reinvesting your money into a way that's going to generate you a return. When you see this type of economic slowdown or recession happens, the next thing that happens is you see the entities in charge, the government and the Federal Reserve Bank, who want to pull our economy out of this recession. How do they do that? They stimulate the economy. Now, how do you stimulate the economy? This might be through interest rate cuts. You